Well, welcome to chapter 70 of World's Longest Suicide Note. My name is Roger, and though I've been suicidal for 25 years, off and on, obviously, I am not any kind of mental health expert. I can't even say expert. I can't even say expert. So don't you? There's no reason for you to ever take what I say. I mean, you can take it seriously, but as I always say, whatever you do for your own self, you're in charge of you. I put out perspective, and if anything makes sense, then try it. But you know, uh, this is my perspective. I encourage you to develop your own perspective, and most importantly, to keep fighting and keep moving forward. That's the biggest thing. So, since this is number 70, and it's like an even number, I'm going to just talk a little bit about, like, do a check-in every 10 or so of these, or 20, or whatever that it turns out to be. We'll just do a check-in. We'll talk, kind of explain where I'm at right now, and then, So yeah, right now, I'm. It's hard to explain, and I'm sure you're aware how difficult it is sometimes, because there's positive and there's negative things still. And sometimes we let the negative things have a bigger piece of the pie than the positive things that happen. That's a general thing that we usually will allow to happen, or almost demand it to happen, because that just feels right. It feels right that it should be a more negative situation than a positive one. So, anyway, yeah, I feel like I've made some gains, making gains with a Z, in regards to the PTSD part of it, the cognitive processing therapy. I feel is a good direction, and if nothing else, for them, just the understanding that what I think of myself isn't always true. That's what I've been talking with you about. Like, it's bringing into focus how much I've done that to myself, in terms of just assuming I'm worse than I am, and by worse I mean I'm a worse quality person. I'm working on my self esteem and my self appreciation, and it's helping. So because at the end of the day, we live with ourselves. So anyway, yeah, I think this maybe one more on this painting, and it should be wrapping it up and moving on to the next thing. So anywho, yeah, I mean, but it's a mixed bag, because I feel like I've made some gains in some areas, but in other areas, I still struggle, and I think, I mean, that's the name of the game. But it's changed, and what I'll say to anyone that's younger, that's newer to mental illness, and to severe mental illness, and to suicidality, is that it's going to change. As soon as you get to know the game, that someone's going to change the rules, and sure as shooting that's gonna be the case, and that's happened to me on multiple occasions where I thought, I had it down. I had it licked to a degree. Everything was working, and then it wasn't. It worked until it didn't, and there was no real, reason why it stopped. The focus just shifted, it, and that's why it's like if you ever, at this point, I don't expect a cure. I don't expect to not deal with this ever. That's just where I'm at, and where my condition, what it's done, and what it's likely to do. I don't hold out. I have a lot of hope. So I'm not nearly hopeless. I do feel like there's hope, not for a cure. I don't hope for that. I mean, because that's wasted energy, if you ask me. So I'm not. I have hope that things are going to. I'm going to be able to keep going and doing these things and moving forward doing these things. So my hope isn't like for a cure or for a magic pill. My hope is to be able to stay in a stabilized condition over a long period of time. That's the overarching goal. That's what I hope to achieve. But I mean, at the end of the day, we do the best we can with the information that we have, and the information we have is us. And as I've learned, we are not the best sources of information, especially about ourselves, because we like to fill our heads with notions that I don't know, there's something, maybe it's psychologically easier to deal with if you feel badly about yourself. If you don't feel like you have a lot of worth, and I know that's something that's coming, I get that. I've been doing this a long time. It always makes me go, It's just how we are to ourselves. So, anywho's, but as far as environmentally, I don't. It's also a mixed bag. And what I mean by environmentally is like the what's going on in the world, what's going on to make me want to stay here. Is it good? And I'm sure I need to make like a scale of what's good and what's not so good as far as that's concerned. But there's still some real positivity from people. But at the end of the day, it feels like it's getting, there's spots of bright light, but overall it's getting darker. And I don't know when you'll see this, but what just happened over the weekend was we started having more and more violent rallies and protests to the administration's policies on immigration and the crackdowns that are going on. And those kind of things, when we're fighting each other, that just, it messes with my head to a great to a great degree. And so, and I watched that, and I was around. I mean, not I was around during the Rodney King incidences, riots. Was that the 80s or early 90s? Anyway, but I did watch them, and that, and it was a very sad thing. Made me very sad because of what people do to other people. And there's really no, I mean, I don't, with people in other countries, at war with, there's been that stuff going on forever. And it bothers me because, but at the same time, you also get the differences in nationalities and ideologies between countries. But in the same country, having this going on, I mean, it's hard when it's, I don't like human suffering. I don't like my own suffering, and I definitely don't like other people's suffering. It's just suffering, it sucks. And when we're doing that to each other on purpose, it just doesn't feel right, doesn't feel like something I want to take part in. And the danger is for folks who are maybe managing themselves to a degree. Sometimes that's the tipping point, that they can kind of manage what's going on, but they can't manage the mentality of the world, and sometimes it's just so gross. That energy that is put out, that it makes that may be the thing that tips the scale, and it's unfortunate. So there's always a way to get along with people. I mean, we've all had clashes and conflict with other people, but that's not, there's sometimes good could come from that. At least understanding could come from that. So anyway, so that's getting worse. The environment. That being said, it's still Pride Month, and Pride Month makes me happy because at the end of the day, it's people being proud of who they are, and it's positive energy. And so I'm very happy that it's Pride, and support the heck out of that, and hope everyone gets out and enjoys that as well, and supports that, because again, that's how we should all be all the time. So if we lived in Pride Month and everyone got into it, that's the energy we need. So that's a good, and so I've gotten some real shining moments of positive energy, so to offset a lot of the negative. And at the end of the day, sometimes, why do I keep saying at the end of the day? I have to stop that. So I say certain things way too much, and that's one of them. So I'm trying to avoid that. I say that a lot, and I almost want to say it there too. It's like, at the end of the day, what did I used to say before that? Anyway. Yeah. So mixed report card. this time, some things happening, but also, some real fear, and I don't know what with the fear thing, I have this overarching fear that consumes me sometimes. And the fear is that I'm going to, that my mental illness is going to basically tear my whole world apart. I mean, I'm going to do it. I'm going to tear my whole world apart. I'm going to destroy everything. I'm going to run the business to the ground. I'm going to burn all the personal bridges that I've ever created. And my life before I kill myself will be, there will be shame and remorse and basically that imposter syndrome will finally happen that I've worried about. It's like, oh, people are going to finally realize that, or my mental illness is finally going to destroy everything. And it's a fear. It's like, it's at the point of being like a phobia sometimes. And I get this overwhelming sense of dread. And last night, I mean, I went to bed with that, and I played it off, like we do with ourselves and those closest. I mean, it's a momentary thing, and I didn't want to stay in it, because it's so uncomfortable. So I was like, nope, avoid. But that's there, and that, every once in a while when that kicks up, it's really hard to shake it. So, that's not making me very happy. And it's a fear because it's based in reality. At some point that could conceivably happen. And that's why things like AI really bother me. Because I used to be kind of freaked out about nuclear war and Skynet. It's like, and then with all this AI stuff, it's like, has everyone already forgotten the Terminator and what Skynet does? I mean, right now it's like it's not a real concern. I mean, I don't want it to happen, but part of me wouldn't be all that torn up. I mean, I worry more for my family than myself. Anyway, yeah. So I guess that's where I'm at. I'm a mixed bag, like normal, of emotion. But there is some positive stuff. There's some positive things happening, and that's, sometimes we have to look a little harder for it. But when we find it, that's good. It's a good thing to have some positivity. Yeah. Anyway, that was that. I think we're gonna move on. I got to do some other stuff. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope that you're checking in with yourself and you're doing everything you can. Most importantly, keep fighting the good fight, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.